Hey everyone, it's the one and only magnificent bird, Beak, speaking to you today. And in today's video, I am going to go over my AEW Dynasty 2026 predictions. So, this event or this pay-per-view is going to take place in Canada, in Vancouver, Canada, which I'm hoping that this year's Dynasty is going to be a hell of a lot better than last year's Dynasty, because I'm not afraid to say it. As far as 2025's worst pay-per-view, in my opinion, it was Dynasty of last year, because that show, it was terrible. It sucked. The best match, it was so bad. Y'all know what the best match on that card was, in my opinion? Bandino and Chris Jericho. That's how bad the card was. And I think that match was for the Ring of Honor World Title, if I'm not mistaken. That's how bad the card was. The main event for AEW's World Title match sucked balls. It sucked ice. That's how bad it was. And on paper, this is turning out to be like, okay, it could be better than last year's. So let's take a look at all of the matches, and I'm going to go over my predictions. As simple as that. First up, on the pre-show, I'm assuming that's what the P stands for, pre-show, we have Alex Windsor taking on Marina Shafir, and the reason that this match is specifically happening is where Will Ospreay is feuding with Jon Moxley. Alex Windsor and Will Ospreay are husband and wife in real life, and she's sick and tired of Marina Shafir beating up on her man, so she's like, you know what, I'm going to beat this bitch's ass. I want a piece of her. So that's why this match is happening. Who do I think is going to win this match realistically? Probably Marina Shafir. Although, could they go with Alex Windsor? I mean, it's possible, but I honestly wouldn't hold my breath, so I'm going to go with Marina Shafir. Next up, we have a tag team match for the AEW World Tag Team Championships. We have the champions, FTR, Cash Wheeler, and Dax Harwood, with Stokely defending against Adam Copeland and Christian Cage. And obviously, since this is going to be in Vancouver in Canada, we know that Adam Copeland and Christian Cage are going to be absolutely beloved. They're going to be baby faces. Of course, they're from Canada, so I don't see a scenario where FTR wins this match. No. I'm sure this is going to be a fantastic match. I'm expecting this to maybe be one of the possible matches of the night candidate. Let's be honest. Could this be Adam Copeland and Cage and Christian Cage's last year? It very likely could. So I don't see any scenario where Adam Copeland and Christian Cage do not win the tag team titles, since they're going to be in their hometown, and this very likely could be their final year ever of wrestling. Because, I mean, both of them, especially Edge, he's on up there in age, you know what I mean? So I don't see where FTR is going to win and retain, unless they set up some sort of rematch for Double or Nothing where they win then. But that would be a huge mistake not to have Edge and Christian win in their hometown. I just don't see it happen. I see Tony Khan booking Adam Copeland and Christian Cage winning in their hometown and becoming the new tag champ. So give me Copeland and Cage to win and become the new tag team champions. Next up, we have a singles match for the AEW Continental Championship between the champion Jon Moxley going up against Will Ospreay. Okay, so originally this match was just going to be a singles match and the title wasn't going to be on the line at all, but they decided to change that for whatever reason. I don't know, but it is what it is. They changed it. So tonight on Dynamite, last night on Dynamite, they had, so Will Ospreay ended up getting backup to help him fight against the Death Riders. And there was a multi-man match on the main event of Dynamite between the Death Riders and Will Ospreay and the United Empire. I thought they were called the United Kingdom, but they're called the United Empire. And I don't know a single member of the United Empire, but we're just, it's Will Ospreay and his friends, the United Empire versus the Death Riders. And what's interesting about this match is it was pretty much, they were using weapons, going through tables, all of that stuff, and that's not the interesting part. The interesting part is Will Ospreay and the United Empire got the win, and Will Ospreay pinned Jon Moxley. So that has me thinking that maybe Will Ospreay is taking a loss on Sunday. And here's the thing about these Continental Championship matches. Nobody can interfere, and they usually have a 20-minute time limit. So, I think one of two things is going to happen. I think Will Ospreay is going to win the Continental Championship, or they will go to a 20-minute time limit where they can still have Jon Moxley retain, but Will Ospreay doesn't lose. Because, could there be a scenario where Jon Moxley wins and beats Will Ospreay on the pay-per-view? I wouldn't fucking do it, but it's possible. I would not do that. But I think it's a mistake. I thought it was a mistake for Will Ospreay to beat Jon Moxley before the pay-per-view. He pinned him 1-2-3 after Will Ospreay had help from one of his buddies in the match to hit a hidden blade on Jon Moxley through a table set up in the corner of the ring. And then he pinned him 1-2-3. I thought that was a mistake. They shouldn't have done that before the pay-per-view, because now it has me thinking, just maybe Jon Moxley beats Will Ospreay at the pay-per-view because of that, or maybe they don't want to have Will Ospreay lose yet, so in order to protect Will Ospreay from taking a pinfall loss, that they just wrestle for the 20 minutes and it's a time limit draw. So it's either got to be the time limit draw or Will Ospreay wins the title. I do not see Jon Moxley beating Will Ospreay, although since he got pinned by Will Ospreay tonight, that chance is definitely there for sure. So give me either Will Ospreay winning the title or they get to the time limit draw. That's what I'm thinking. Next up, we have a singles match between Andrade and Darby Allin. And if Darby Allin wins, he will get a future AEW World Championship match. And I'm assuming that will take place at Double or Nothing in May. And here's the interesting thing. So there was a 6-man tag team match between Andrade, Mark Davis, and one member of the Don Callis family going up against Bandito, Darby Allin, and Jack Perry. Well, I think based off of who won tonight, it's going to be easy to process. It's going to be an easy process of elimination who I think is going to win on Sunday. So who won that 6-man tag team match? I'll tell you. Andrade pinned Jack Perry. So the Don Callis family won that 6-man tag team match. So by that process of elimination, I'm thinking that Andrade is going to be losing to Darby Allin this Sunday, and that's going to set up Darby Allin versus MJF for the world title coming up at Double or Nothing. Yes, that's right. You heard my prediction for later, but we'll still talk about it. So yeah, I think Darby Allin is going to win and become the next number one contender for the AEW World Championship. Next up, we have a singles match for the AEW Women's World Championship between the champion Tekla defending against Jamie Hayter. I'm not going to spend too much time on this pick. I think Tekla is going to win and retain because of two reasons. Right now, out of all of the women on the roster right now, who's going to beat her right now? Who's going to beat her? Well, that goes to my reason number 2 as to who I think will eventually beat Tekla. Let's talk about Mercedes Moné for a minute, okay? You'll understand why I'm bringing her up in just a minute. Okay, so you know how Mercedes Moné was going all around those promotions that we've never heard of, collecting belt after belt after belt. Well, guess what? You know how many belts Mercedes Moné has right now? Total? She has 0. Not too long ago, she finally dropped her last belt to, I don't know who it was, but the point is, Mercedes Moné doesn't have any more championship belts. So my prediction is Tekla is going to beat Jamie Hayter. And my other prediction is Mercedes Moné is probably going to return at Dynasty to want to challenge Tekla for the one championship that has eluded her in her AEW career. And I think that's going to set up Mercedes Moné and potentially Tekla at Double or Nothing. Who knows? We will see. But that's my prediction for the AEW Women's World Championship picture going forward. It would be, would it be a surprise to see Jamie Hayter win? Yes, but I realistically don't see that happen. Honestly. But that's my prediction. Tekla is going to win. Mercedes Moné is going to return and then eventually take the title off of Tekla. Next up, we have a Casino Gauntlet match to crown a new AEW TNT champion. Because the reason why, in case you haven't heard, Kyle Fletcher was the TNT champion, but he got injured this past Saturday. He tore his meniscus, so he's got no choice but to vacate the TNT championship, so a new TNT champion will be crowned this Sunday at Dynasty. Man, that sucks for Kyle Fletcher because he is an exceptional talent. But damn it, I can't remember. He got injured doing a certain wrestling move that he maybe, I don't know if it was a routine wrestling move, but damn it, those things happen, unfortunately, and it's a shame. But I worry that, I hope it doesn't kill his momentum, but I kind of worry that it might a little bit, but maybe it won't. I don't know. There's not really much to talk about right now as far as who I think could win, because the only participant in this Casino Gauntlet is Tommaso Ciampa. And that's it. So it's like, it's extremely hard to make a prediction. So, I'm trying to think of who doesn't have a match. I don't know. Maybe somebody returning could. Okay, let me just go with a long shot prediction, okay? Jay White, okay? Jay White's been out a while with an injury, okay? We haven't heard anything about whether or not he's coming back. I know this is probably going to be wrong, but let me go with a wild shot prediction right here, just out of the blue. I'm going to say Jay White is going to come back in the Casino Gauntlet, and he's going to be the new TNT champion. I know that's going to be wrong, but at least I made a prediction there. Bam, there you go. He might not even be in the match, but I made a prediction nonetheless. All right, next up, we have a tag team match between the Young Bucks, Matt Jackson and Nick Jackson versus the Don Callis family of Okada and Takeshita teaming up, even though they don't like each other. But the original plan, I believe, was for Okada and Kyle Fletcher to team up against the Young Bucks, but they had to course correct. They had to change plans there at the last minute, and now Okada and Takeshita are teaming up, even though they don't really like each other all that much, but they're still part of the Don Callis family. I think this match could be interesting just because of the dynamic of Okada and Takeshita. They don't like each other, but they got to team up. Can they get along? Can they get the win? Or is one of them going to backstab the other, leading to Okada and Takeshita? If I had to make a prediction, I'm going to go with the Young Bucks to win, only because I feel like Okada and Takeshita, one of them is going to pull the trigger, so to speak. One of them is going to leave the other high and dry, and that's going to, I feel like eventually, maybe at Double or Nothing, set up Okada and Takeshita one-on-one. So yeah, give me the Young Bucks. All right, next up, we have a singles match. Oh boy. We have Chris Jericho taking on Ricochet. Oh boy. Yeah, if you've been on social media, Ricochet, he's said a lot of stupid shit. Just despicable. So I think what they're doing here, because of the more recent controversy of Ricochet saying stupid shit, despicable crap online, I think the hopes is to have Chris Jericho take on Ricochet in the hopes of having people cheer for Chris Jericho because of Ricochet's more recent actions on social media being a dumbass, right? That's what they're hoping for. Obviously, people in Canada are cheering him, but will the people in the States cheer him when they get back to the States? That remains to be seen. But I feel like if I had to make a pick, I'm going to go with Chris Jericho on this one. I just don't. Yeah, I know Chris Jericho is going to be rusty, but let's be honest. Ricochet, he's going to sell the shit out of Chris Jericho's moves to make him look really good. You know what I mean? So, yeah, give me Chris Jericho. I would be very surprised if Chris Jericho lost to Ricochet. So, yeah, give me Jericho. Next up, we have the main event between MJF, the AEW World Champion, versus Kenny Omega. We have the Devil versus the God of Professional Wrestling for the AEW World Championship. Now, I know this match is going to be a candidate to be match of the night. I know this is going to be a phenomenal fucking match because y'all might not be the biggest fans of MJF, and I'm not his biggest fan. Like, I'm not like, I don't watch, like, I really like Swerve Strickland, Will Ospreay. Those are, like, I would say my favorites. But MJF, I cannot deny it. MJF, he's so talented that even though he is a major asshole, he's a dickwad. He's a very talented dickwad in that ring and on the mic. So you can't help but say that, I'm sorry, he's one of the best wrestlers. He's one of the best promos in wrestling as of right now. And you cannot deny that. No matter, even if you don't watch AEW, just go on to YouTube and watch a clip of MJF on the mic, and you'll see what I'm talking about. You'll absolutely see what I'm talking about. And Kenny Omega, he's very talented as well. And these two, their promo work going back and forth leading up to Dynasty has been pretty good. Has been very good, and they've been selling the match very well. And I think this match could be a match of the night candidate for sure. And honestly, I have a couple matches that could be absolutely match of the night candidate. The world title match, Andrade and Darby Allin, Jon Moxley and Will Ospreay, and then the tag title match. I think those, for me, would be my candidates for match of the night. If I had to be honest with y'all, those are the matches that I'm most looking forward to out of any of the other matches. Who do I think is going to win? I think MJF is going to win and retain just for the simple fact they have already low-key set up MJF and Darby Allin for the world title without really setting it up. They've teased it because MJF has hired the Don Callis family to take out Darby Allin because MJF doesn't want to have to worry about facing Darby Allin for the, to defend the world title against Darby Allin. So that's why Andrade and Darby Allin is happening this Sunday, because MJF is hoping Andrade is going to take out Darby Allin, and no, I don't think that's going to be the case at all. What could be a factor in Kenny Omega losing is Swerve Strickland coming back to cost Kenny Omega the world title. Not to help MJF, but to fuck over Kenny Omega, because Swerve Strickland is going to feel like I got fucked over out of my world title shot. So, yeah, fuck Kenny Omega. If I don't have a world title shot, he's not going to have one. And that's going to be Swerve Strickland's mindset, right? So, yeah, give me MJF to win and retain, as it looks like it is going to be Darby Allin and MJF at Double or Nothing coming up in May. And those are my predictions for AEW Dynasty. I'm looking forward to this one. This card is shaping up to be a hell of a lot better than last year's Dynasty. Like I said, Dynasty last year was... it was bad. I'm a fan. I'm a pretty big fan of the AEW, but I'm not afraid to criticize them. When they have a shit show, I will say it. Their worst show all year was Dynasty last year. Without a doubt. It was bad. But anyway, that is going to do it for this video. If you have any thoughts on anything wrestling related or just anything in general, feel free to let me know down in the comments. I want to thank each and every one of you for stopping by and for your continued support. And if you're new, welcome on in for the very first time. I'm glad to have your support and thank you for your time. I am Buck Beak, and I'm going to go fly away back to my nest. Until next time, bye guys.